Hi, I'm Three Gnomes, a solo indie game developer, and I'm currently working on my first big project, Toby's Topsy Tale. It's a 3D platformer in the style of Super Mario 64 or some of the other classics, but it's also a psychological horror game. Now in the game you play as a little gingerbread man named Toby who explores a big hub world house where he finds all these little hidden magical worlds for him to explore. All the while he's trying to find out what happened to his creator. In my last devlog, I set up music, ambient occlusion, an entire village filled with NPCs for you to deal with, and some basic campfires. So from here I decided to start by working on something small, which is that since I'd been learning more about how the camera systems worked, I wanted to make it so that when you talked or interacted with certain things, the camera would switch to big impressive angles. So for instance, when you walk up to the statue, instead of just focusing in on the plaque right in front of you that you're reading, I had it zoom out so that you could get a big view of the entire scene. Really feel the magnificence of this big statue. And the narcissist that made it. So from here hi. Hi. Who are you? What are you, how did you get, what are you doing here? I'm the feature creep. No. This joke is too dumb. Anyways, yeah, so feature creep came in and Don't interrupt me. Get out of here. I ended up making trophies to add to the game. You find them, you collect them as you explore the game, and later, in a secret location, you'll have a place to display them. I'm super excited about what the trophies will unlock, but I'll come back to that after I've made that in a future devlog. The next little thing I did was add smoke to these cannons here in the fridge world. Super simple, but as I always say, details add a lot. So next up I added a sound effect for when you're bouncing, and that got repetitive very quickly. So I just added a pitch randomizer, and that worked horribly. The range for what the pitch could be was way too across the board, so I reined that in, and now you had a nice bounce sound effect. Good enough. What's next? I added the music that was going to go in the kitchen, and the pantry, which is just kind of an altered version of the kitchen music, and then to the fridge world. Again, all of this music is made by Gabriel Calderon. He's incredibly talented, and the music is one of the few things I'm not hand-making for this game. I am not musically gifted. So thank you, Gabriel. After that, I turned my sights to my good little pal, Kevin, and started by giving him an idle animation, and then tried to set up a rigid body, emphasis on try. Then I wanted to make it so that if you hit him or bounce on his head, he'll play a little animation and bounce you up into the air. After all, he's a marshmallow. He's bouncy. Good. Now I had another little friend in the game, and I know how much you love what am I saying? I know how much you guys love my little friends, and he is the cutest little friend. From here I needed to make the loading screen that goes into the freezer. Right now it looks like this. Not ideal, so I fixed it to look like this. Perfect. And at this point, I couldn't find an excuse to put it off any longer, so I finally had to start creating the flying enemy that I'd been imagining. My girlfriend and I kind of worked together to design kind of what it should look like. She drew the sketch, and then I redesigned it to fit the style of the game, and then I started making it. I call this little guy Scooops. I went through the typical process you've seen me go through again and again and again, Blender, using the sketch that I made as a basis to model around, animation, texturing, and then importing it into Unity. I even made the ice cream material separate from the other texture so that you could change the flavor, which I thought would just be a fun way to add variety to this enemy, and would help with the fact that Scooops was intended to be the first boss. But we'll come back to that later, because I got scared of working on this and decided to do other stuff instead. Gotta keep this channel family friendly so YouTube doesn't hate me. Anyways, here's the stuff I did instead of working on this enemy. First up, I needed to fix the horrible voice acting that I had done for Tilly. She is way too cute to sound like this. Right? So I had my girlfriend record audio, and now Tilly sounds like this. And she makes this sound when you hit her. And she makes this sound when she dies. Oh my god, it breaks my heart. Oh, it hurts. Next up, so I knew from the beginning that when you start the game, I wanted it to just kind of throw you into things, and you had to figure everything out as you went. However, currently, if you pressed play and started the game right from the beginning, this is what happens. You're just kind of standing there on a cookie sheet. So I wanted to fix that. I wanted to make it so that the first time you enter this level, you're laying face down on the cookie sheet, as if you've just been made. And before that, I also wanted to set up some type of cutscene, so this is what it ended up being. Not perfect, but it feels a lot better than this. Just kind of starting. Good, what's next? Fine, guess I got nothing else. Scooops. Let's get him working in Unity, baby! I put him in the freezer level and gave him a capsule collider as well as a rigid body and... Okay, let's try taking off gravity. He's a flying creature. Okay, still not great, but when I start adding his AI, none of this is really going to matter anyways. He'll be self-propelled. You might have noticed Toby take a little damage there. I also added, right at the end of his tail, his stinger, a little collider that deals damage to you. That's the only part of him that will hurt you. And I would need to put a lot more work into this. But before that, let's make his wings flap so that it actually looks like he's flying. Ooh, nice. But, not perfect. So I guess it was time to start working on his AI, so he'd stop doing stuff like this. Okay, this gets very complex, but I'm going to try to explain it as best I can. So first, when you get close enough to him, he'll come towards you. And then, when he gets over top of you, he'll lunge down towards you to try and stab you with his stinger. Okay, good, but he couldn't just stay frozen like that. I needed to give him a state for 1, if he collided with you, and 2, for if he didn't. Okay, 1, if he hits you, he should stab you and then go back away from you for a second, before coming in for a second attack. Nope, nope. Not like that. Second try. Okay, good, that's working a lot better. Now for step 2, what if he misses you? Well, he can't miss you if he moves at the speed of light. Currently, he's not telegraphing that he's going to dive down towards you. It happens too fast. So I've got to put a delay there so you can anticipate that he's going to attack you and get out of the way. Okay, good. He pauses, but he can't just pause in place. I needed to give him something to do to signal that he's about to attack. So I gave him a cute little flip. Now you know when he's about to attack you, and you can get out of the way. Which leads me to part 2. What happens if he misses? We've already seen it. He gets stuck in the ground. Then after a few seconds, he frees himself, flies up, and then comes back to attack you again. Okay, looking good. Now I needed to make it so that you could kill him. And I set it so that you could only do this when he's stuck in the ground. It's the only time he's vulnerable. Good. Already he was a lot more complex than some of the other creatures that I'd set up so far. And honestly, he was pretty fun to kill. Now that he was functional, I went ahead and added some other flavors to the game. And I'll show off chocolate and strawberry here, but there may be a few other flavors that you might have to look around to find. I am so excited for you to play this game. Anyways, cool, so I had some small ones made, but now, as I promised, it was time to make Scooops a boss. And of course, because I'm an idiot, I thought, oh, I'll just start by throwing a big one in there. Nope. No, it did not work. But it was a starting point. Okay, so a lot there to fix. First, he needed to be higher in the air before he came down at you. He also needed to move a little faster so he'd be more intimidating. And finally, I also wanted to make it so that you couldn't just hit him anywhere when he was stuck to kill him. I wanted to make it so you could only kill him by hitting the weak spot, the cherry on the back of his head, or by stomping on it. Classic platforming move. However, he wasn't meant to be a one-hit kill. Because he was a boss, it would take 3 hits to kill him, and each hit would have a different effect on him, specifically changing his flavor. However, this meant that his FSM now looked like this. So this Scooops boss was meant to be a Neapolitan ice cream themed monster. Specifically, he starts out as vanilla, and the first time you whack him, he turns into chocolate, you do it again, he turns into strawberry, and after you hit him that 3rd time, he dies. However, he shouldn't just be floating there when you enter the level. I needed to make it so that he surprised you with the boss battle. So if you've been watching my other devlogs, you've seen a part where you have to collect a lever in this freezer level to progress. He will not be able to spawn until after you've collected this lever and gone back through this main area, at which point gates will lock you in with him, there will be a quick cutscene, and then you'll be fighting him. And to emphasize the fact that he's a Neapolitan-themed monster, I gave him a health bar that's essentially 3 scoops of ice cream. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this. But I'm not quite done yet. There were a few more things I did. First, I added a smooth white transition for when you enter a scene or exit a scene, even if that's through dying. Felt a lot better than the quick cuts I'd been doing. Then, I added Kevin to this freezer level in a few different ways. So, Hopefully you'll get pretty numb to seeing these cute characters as horrific corpses. And on that pile of bodies, that's the end of my devlog. Make sure you join my Discord, like and subscribe. Seriously, I have just hit 500 and I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much. It means so much to me that you guys are interested in my game. Make sure you join the Discord. The art that's on the screen right now is from my Discord and from Twitter and a few other sources, so link in the description, hit that up. Thank you so much for watching, and nobody suggested a sign off for me in the comments, so I'm just gonna make some sounds for the next 5 seconds. Doop bop bop boop bop boop bop doodity bop bop boop bop boop. Please give me something to say at the end of this. It's so awkward every time. Alright, bye.